All right, so I'm sitting here talking with the Beneath the Fallen guys. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hey Drew, what's up? I'm Frank Williams and I play lead guitar.
Hi, Drew. I'm Craven and I'm the singer. One of them, anyway.
Hey Drew, what's up? I'm Justin and I am rhythm guitar and the other singer.
All right, so first off, I just want to say that I literally just caught the new version of Don't Let Go, and I'm loving the new sound. New logo, new sound. You guys actually have like a new like heaviness to it, which I actually really wasn't expecting. Awesome job on that. I'm really looking forward to the new album. But now I gotta ask, the new album, is it going to be all new songs from here on out, or are we pulling in a lot of the old classics and doing those? How's that all working out?
Well, we decided that a lot of the old songs that we did live never really got justice as far as being on an album or so. We really only released a 5-song EP online or for purchase or anything like that. So, yeah, we decided to revamp everything. Slapped a couple of new ones on there that we wrote that we wrote just towards the end. You know, ones that people won't be really as familiar with. We still got a couple up in the air. Maybe give you a couple brand new ones that we've been working on here and there. We'll see when the final product rolls through. You know.
What was the inspiration for actually bringing Beneath the Fallen back? I've been pestering you guys for a number of years, actually, to get back together and do this again. Now you guys are back, new lineup, new logo, a whole new sound, one familiar song with like I said before, a completely different sound to it. What kind of inspiration, bring you guys back together? Or even to write some of the new songs that we're going to be hearing?
Frank. I'll just say Frank.
So with the new sound you guys have now, was that something that everybody just kind of walked in with, or did somebody stand up and say, fuck it, we need to do something different? Like Frank, I know you've been doing the Hans Zimmer style score music. Your music, the things you're doing right now are just way beyond what you were doing when you were here in New York. Is any of that influence going to eventually creep in, or are you set on keeping those things separate?
I always thought that in order to bring the songs the emotion and the sound and everything that they really needed, they needed a female front. So I talked to Frank maybe like a couple of months into it, and I asked him, I said, what about having a female front, you know, and to really bring that punch, that raw emotion that the songs were originally written to have. And he agreed 100%. He knew right off the bat. He's like, Craven, I know the perfect woman. He sent her Make Me Beg, raw, in its form, the way that we originally did it. She sent back her take with that, with her vocals over it, and we were blown away, dude. It was a no-brainer. We were like, yes, this is the woman that we need. She had the power, she had the energy, she had the voice, everything we were looking for. Adding Craven to the band, we really lucked out. Frank and her have known each other, talking for a while. She said, I'll never forget, she wrote a message saying I could sing the shit out of these songs when he asked her what he thought. So I think that's pretty neat.
Well, based on the one single that I've heard right now, Craven definitely seems like a very good fit. When you initially were saying about getting a second singer again, honestly, I was thinking back, you tried this once before and it didn't work out. You had a good guy with a good voice, but I didn't think it meshed well. So I was so afraid of that happening again. But this time around, based on one song, I'm very sold on this new lineup. Now, Craven, you've actually been kind of silent here. Why don't you step in and tell us a little bit, about yourself, what you've experienced so far with these guys?
Well, like Justin said, Frank and I had been friends. We met here in Austin and collaborated on some things before, and Justin had mentioned that he was interested in adding a new vocalist to the band. Frank dropped my name and introduced us via Facebook Messenger. He sent me Make Me Beg, and Justin said how I had sent that track, and that's what I said. And I remember my first message to Justin was, I hear we could make beautiful music together. And that's kind of how it went with us. We instantly hit it off, and I think the reason why we get along so well is because I, like Frank, believe in Justin's songwriting. The songs are great. My first concern when joining the band is, they're an established band and everybody's used to Justin singing and everybody's used to the way the songs sound. I don't want to take away. I want to add to what they already have and bring out that quality that Justin's looking for. I don't want to take away from anything or change the sound so much that nobody likes it. And I think that's kind of how the sound has evolved, is that because we're working together to make the songs the way Justin feels they should sound and how I feel they should sound and how Frank feels they should sound. So I think it's really working out great having three minds collaborating, and it sounds more uniform versus, oh, I want to sing that and I want to do this. It's just, or this new singer coming in and taking over. So it's really been fun. It's been exciting. I feel like a kid, when you're building a Lego set and you follow those little instructions and, it turns out and it looks really awesome. That's how I feel at the end of every recording session, because sometimes we go in and we don't even know how it's going to sound when it's done, and then it'll be finished and we'll look at each other and we'll just like, wow, this is my new favorite song, every song. So it's been really fun. It's been an adventure. It's been really cool to see how the music is evolving, and we're just, as we get ideas, we're throwing them around, and it's just been a really, really exciting experience.
So as far as the recording, it's just going to be the three of you guys, correct?
We have a couple of other people assisting with the recording process. Forming on bass on this album, you'll hear Carol. She did Don't Let Go, was the first one, because we tried to go through the original lineup from back in the day, and we've had conflicting schedules, people not being able to devote as much time as they'd like to the project to really, give it justice, because so many people, especially like some of the founding members of Beneath the Fallen, really feel, they feel just as passionate about the music as we do, and we had kind of a hard time, like a rough takeoff, finding that time to do it and other people that will have the time to do it. We sent Carol Don't Let Go. She knocked it out of the park, man. It was awesome. Her sound is really, really good. It adds to that heaviness, that thickness that you hear, and I think her style, even adding to the previous question you asked, I think her style as well brings across that new sound very well, and we look forward to doing more work with her in the future. And you may recognize Chris Poole on drums. He was our last drummer that we had before we took our hiatus, and when he heard about us getting back together and doing the project, he was all on board. He was ready for it, and I think he did a good job. He did everything that was required, did everything that was needed. It all came together.
I've actually always been a very big fan of Chris. All of the drummers that you've had in the past were all very good, but there was like an extra tightness in playing with you guys. So I'm glad to see that he's back, at least for the recording element. Have you guys put any thought into touring yet? And if so, touring lineups?
We actually have been discussing that. Our timeline, short-term goals are getting our presence online kind of thick first, but in the meantime trying to get involved with music festivals, not so much headliner venues anymore, at least not now, because of all the members being all over the U.S. So, for example, here in Austin, we'll have South by Southwest in March, and we're considering getting a showcase there and play that. And Justin was looking into a couple music festivals over in New York. So we're thinking about, jumping around. And as far as, the back line, we have people interested on both sides of the fence. Over here we have a bunch of musicians that I've either worked with or have met and networked with since becoming a producer here in Austin. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, it's, Justin, I, and Craven. And for right now, we're just focusing on the album, revamping the old music, adding the new tunes. And to answer your previous question, with my dwellings in composition and other instrumentations, pretty sure some of that stuff will start creeping in. Even in Don't Let Go, you can hear a piano very faintly during the second verse, and it's kind of just like a taste to see what other instruments are gonna benefit Beneath the Fallen. So as the I guess we'll just have to wait and see when the album comes out exactly what we're gonna do to spice up all these older songs, and of course the new ones that we've been collaborating on together.
Yeah, I gotta say, with just to kind of give you a little bit of behind the scenes info, what I can say is hearing some of the recordings and already some of the additions to the songs during the revamping process that Craven, Frank, and I have already put down, it really hits you. It hits you emotionally. It hits you even physically. I get chills, and I wrote the songs myself, and to hear them come to life the way that they are, you can hear everyone's maturity as a musician and everybody's ideas finally coming together and kind of melding together to make this one amazing sound. It's really exciting, and I look forward to hearing you, Drew, being one of our biggest fans for many years, and I look forward to you and everybody else's feedback, what you guys think. I have a feeling you guys are really gonna like it, and touring, when we do come to that, I miss you coming up and stealing my mic, man. We may have to make room on the bus for you to, come around when that time comes.
Yes, Drew, we'll have to save you a seat on the bus, and you can hop on stage anytime. I've heard stories. I gotta see it in action. You're like a legend.
I was actually going to work in a joke about coming up and taking your mic, because that kind of became a show tradition, whether it was, If You Could See Me Now or Make Me Beg. There were a couple other songs in there. I'd always come up and sing, and I don't know, my way of trying to even rally the crowd just that little bit towards the end of the show to just make that second half, pop a little bit more. Listening to the new version of Don't Let Go, that was the feeling that was coming to me, that little bit of excitement that I got as I chugged that last sip of PBR and then pushed past Stango and jumped up on the stage and grabbed your mic. So you guys, like I said before, you did an excellent job. You kept the spirit, but you made it a little more epic. If touring does take you back up here, the near future, I will start booking Drew Stock again in a heartbeat.
Well, we'd never turn that down, man. Never. We were talking about a record release when the album is ready to come out. We're not sure where exactly yet, but it is in the front of our minds, definitely where we came from. We want to stick to our roots. where our following first originated. You see a lot of bands that kind of drift off and kind of forget who really made them who they are, and that's definitely not something that we want to forget. All our memories are from here in New York so far, and we definitely want to make new ones in Austin and elsewhere around the country. We're getting quite a big following over in the UK, which is surprising. I never pictured Beneath the Fallen, going overseas. But who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But we will definitely keep everybody informed about the record release. And, we, as a band, we've decided we don't have a problem traveling or anything. I actually flew down to Austin the beginning of this project and recorded with Frank in his studio in Austin, Texas. I flew there for 3 days and got what I had to record 2 guitar tracks. I threw down a scratch bass track for whatever bassist we would in the future come up with, 2 vocal tracks, and Frank threw his leads down. In all that happened in 3 days, and then I flew back, flew to Ocean City, Maryland, and then back to New York. So we have no problem getting around, so I'm sure you'll definitely see us up here in New York.
Another thing I wanted to touch on really quick, too, was, I see you guys have a new logo to kind of go with this new look and image. So I just, I wanted to ask, stuff about that. Who created that logo? Because it does look really badass. And is that old school Beneath the Fallen shirt that I have, the red script writing on it, is that a collector's item now?
We were actually considering that because Justin said he still has some of the merch from back in the day. We were going to make those limited edition, old school, merchandise for collectors such as yourself. So yes, the old school Beneath the Fallen red font shirts are a collector's edition now. The new logos technically were all created by my friend Jackie, and we actually just dubbed her visual media artist for Beneath the Fallen. So she's going to be involved with a lot of graphic design. That's what she does for her own business. But she's also going to help us with anything else, not just graphic design. But for example, I did a photo shoot with her yesterday, and also did some video for some promos that we're working on, just to get the buzz going on all the social media sites. She's become a valuable player in Beneath the Fallen.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple of those photos on Facebook earlier today, actually. I wasn't sure if it was you were secretly plotting a new Ruin album or, something solo under your name to go with those photos, or if it was just for fun or something. But, they're good shots. So now I gotta put you guys on the spot. You guys have been doing the Beneath the Fallen thing for a number of years. You guys have had a ton of shows, a ton of songs, new members coming in and out of the band. Give me one funny story that comes to mind, or, just even something that was awesome, like your favorite Fallen memory.
My favorite Fallen memory, here we go. We were booked for, this is kind of it's my worst and my favorite. We opened up for Pearl at the Basement. And the members include Pearl a Day, Meatloaf's daughter, Scott Ian from Anthrax, and I believe 3 members of the Henry Rollins band. And we opened up, brought a great crowd, and after we went on, Pearl and Scott Ian pull up, in their little private little bus there, and so Frank and I were outside. We're like, dude, that's Scott Ian, one of our idols, you know. Even, you know, those people, there's a guy we grew up watching on TV, wishing we were him, you know. So we went over and went to shake his hand, and instantly he puts his hand up and he says, "I'm doing a meet and greet after the show, guys." And we're like, we opened up, we're the opening act, and you know, we just wanted to thank you. And he's cut us off. "No, I'm doing a meet and greet after the show." So obviously we're fuming, right? We're like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. So word got around the word got around the venue, and next thing you know, we walk outside, and you know, because people were buying our merch left and right, CDs and shirts and buttons and everything. They were just buying it all left and right. We're like, wow, we're having a good night for sales, man. You know, and then we go outside, and their private little bus is covered in all our merch, our CDs in the windshield wipers, and buttons all over the windshield, and CDs in the tires, and like in the rims and everything, all over the windows. It was the funniest thing, the greatest moment that I ever saw, because it was at that moment I realized how devoted and how dedicated our fan base really was, to recognize that a small time band was treated like that by a legend. That completely, like, it showed that our fan base had our back through thick and thin. To be able to make a statement like that to, you know, rock royalty, pretty much, it was amazing. And that's a memory I will take with me to the grave, man.
I remember good chunks of that night very, very vividly. That was actually the night that my band at the time, Insidious, came out to the basement for the first time. And they were there mostly to see Scott Ian, but they heard you guys, and they were all about you guys. Like, I remember at one point they were buying a bunch of CDs and like asking you guys to sign them. Back then they knew, and I'm pretty sure they still have those CDs. So more collector's items. But I do remember that night very well. I've met up with Scott Ian twice more since then. He does do the meet and greet after the show. It's like before the show, he kind of comes across as a dick, but after the show, he's fine.
I haven't had the pleasure of playing with Beneath the Fallen yet, but I would have to say, so far, my favorite memory since I've joined the band was the night I met Justin in real life for the first time. Because most of our communication is, you know, via this app or via Messenger, texting, or Skype chat, video chat, whatever we feel like using at the time, because he's long distance. So he flew into Austin, and like he said, he was here for 3 days, and he got here like around 10 o'clock at night, and he and Frank went to some bar, and Justin texted me. He says, "Are you coming?" And I said, yeah, "Where are you at?" And he's like, "I don't know, ask Frank." He's like, "But you have to come." So I'm trying to figure out where they're at, and I drive out there to meet them, and I show up, and as soon as I saw Justin and Frank, it was just instant. And you know how sometimes you meet people in real life and their online persona is completely different than their real life persona, or, you know, their mannerisms or personalities or something is completely different than, you know, the person you get to know. And I just remember meeting Justin the first time and having the three of us together in the same place just felt like magic in the air. I don't know, it sounds kind of cheesy, but it really did. It was a really fun night. We ended up having like a bunch of people come and sit at our table, because I guess we were the cool kids at the bar, and I think we were there, I don't even know how late. The bar was closed, and they just left us alone. They let us hang out on the patio for however long we wanted, and it was just a really, really fun time. So it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first time I met Justin too was at a bar. He came up to me because I was sitting at the bar and we were just kind of shooting the shit for a minute, and he handed me a ticket. I was like, yeah, come see me. We're opening for, I think it was Trapped. So I kind of went out there, just like, all right, yeah, this guy I met at the bar was cool. God damn it, he just he wowed me. And like Justin and I became very, very fast friends right there that night. Frank, I don't think I actually met him until a couple of nights later on. It was just one of those deals. We met at a bar, and then right after I heard his band for the first time, I was hooked.
Yeah, I remember that. Actually, I think we were opening up for Tantric, actually, and that's another favorite night of mine, actually. First of all, I didn't think you would come, Drew, because you're like, at first, yeah, I was thinking, he's probably thinking like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, his band probably sucks, whatever, I'm not going to see him. But you showed, and by the end of the night, I remember we had no merch at that point. We were like just starting out. We had no merch, no t-shirts. The EP wasn't even, recorded yet. So people were buying Tantric merch and coming over and having us sign it because we had none. And we were like, oh no, they're buying their merch for us to autograph. Oh no. But no, that ended up being a very, very cool night. Yeah, I remember that very well.
You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. It was Tantric. And actually, that was like what made me go. Not necessarily that it was Tantric, but it was, yeah, I remember these guys. They were big with like 2 songs, 5 years prior. So, yeah, whatever. I'll go see them. I just got a free ticket. I was actually really glad I went. It turned out to be one of the better shows I went to. Sadly, not as packed as it should have been, but good enough that you guys, ended up getting 50 autograph requests on Tantric merchandise.
So, Frank, what's your favorite moment?
Frank!
Yeah, come on. Seriously. Frank. Time is money here.
Donkey! I actually have a couple. One in particular happens to be when Beneath the Fallen wasn't even Beneath the Fallen yet. It was just Justin coming over to my house, and because I happened to have an interface that could record, and it was like, in the early stages of the digital era for home studios, and I didn't know anything then. Everything's a blur, but it is my favorite memories because it was dark, it was dirty, it was cold. A lot of the songs we recorded and wrote in the winters, because Justin lived right up the road from me. So I would go pick him up or meet him somewhere, and we'd come back to my shack in the woods, which you remember vividly, I'm sure, as you reffed the Jello wrestling tournament for Ruinfest. So yeah, that shack is where a lot of the original songs were first recorded. A lot of that stuff no one's even heard. And it was rough. I had a computer that had fans that were like screaming, packed with dust. The system would like bog down. We would have power outages during the winter, and we would lose so much shit that we recorded. And there were nights where it was just me and him, guitars, and just recording and music till all hours of the night. To the point where we can't even talk straight, but we understand what we're saying. And there's a lot of inside jokes between me and him. So that's one memory that I'll cherish a lot, because Justin and I have this musical soulmate musicianship that I've never experienced with anyone else that I've played with over the years. I mean, literally, we could be blindfolded, both pick up a guitar, be told to play a chord or a note, and not only would we nail it, but we would harmonize. We would know when to switch, at what point, and I mean, it's incredible. So, so that meant a lot to me back then. The other memory is when we opened up for Refueled at the Chance, which is Fuel. I forget the reasons why they were called that. I'm pretty sure they're back to being called Fuel now, but at the time, I think there was like trademark infringement or something between the band members or whatever. Well, anyway, so we were the opening band that night. I feel like we arrived on time, but the stage handler for the Chance, you probably know who he is. I mean, you're there enough. Well, we pulled up to the back and we were doing load in, and he was bitching at us like bad, like for no reason whatsoever, like just being a complete bastard. And the guitar tech for Refueled overheard this, and he got pissed, and he chewed him out on our behalf, and he like took us under his wing and pretty much was like, I handpicked these bands to be on this tour, and if anyone has a problem with that, they can go fuck themselves, and that guy shut up, and he didn't say another word. And we thank the tech for doing that, and he brought us out back before we went on to go meet Brett, the singer. He was doing warm-ups in the trailer. I mean, I remember hearing him doing the warm-ups as we were loading in, and we knew it was him. But yeah, so they brought us up onto the trailer. We met Brett and the rest of the band members, and we told the story of what just happened with the jerk on stage, and he fell for us. And then he asked if we had any demos, and at the time we had, I can't remember if we had the EP yet, but we had something recorded, I think like a 3-track disc or something. But we had two different things. I think one was a single and one was just like a 3-track, thing that we were giving out at the time. And he took both, and they were cool and just respectful. They're, no Scott Ian syndrome whatsoever. By the way, Scott Ian's posters got ripped after that incident. I lost a lot of respect for that guy that night. And like what you were saying, Drew, how he comes off as a dick, before the show, but is a good guy after the show, doesn't sit well with me. So that's actually one of my bad times. But the other two memories are great.
Yes. To comment on that, Gone Not Want To, that is one of our inside jokes, because we were literally, Frank and I, this has got to be my number one memory, my favorite memories of ever doing this. And Frank and I were recording till about maybe 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, just nonstop. And we had started probably like 10:30, 11 o'clock the previous day, straight through just recording song after song after song. So I did this guitar take, and Frank's like, could you do that a little better? And I'm like, you gonna want to keep it, or are you gonna want not to? And he was like, no, I don't know, man, and he just kept on talking and like completely understood me, and I just started dying laughing. And when Frank realized, he like stopped mid-sentence, he's like, did you just say gonna wanna not to? And I was like, yes, and we totally understood each other. Like, it's crazy when you get to that level. Like Frank said, when you have that kind of a connection with a musician, And I 100% agree with Frank. I've never had as close and as tight of a musical connection with someone as I have with him. Even on stage, we've done it. Like, and I don't know if you've even noticed, Drew, being to as many shows as you have of Beneath the Fallen, when you hear certain things that are a little bit different here and there. Like, me and Frank would do improv a lot when things would, one of the newer band members wouldn't quite know the songs at all, or kind of mess up here and there, and we go into an improv, and we don't even have to look at each other. We know where we're going to go, and we know what notes to hit, and when the changes are, and I've never been able to do that with another musician at all. With Frank, it's flawless. It's awesome, and that is something I'll never have with someone else, musically, so that memory in the Red House, definitely I will definitely take with me, and the Brett, that's a big one. That one almost slipped my mind, because it was almost, when it happened, it was almost surreal. But the regret that I have with that is that once we met him, when he first opened that door, I had no idea like he was still going to be in it. He opened it up, and I was like, wow, it's really him. I was like, oh my god. And we handed him the demos, and there was an awkward silence at the end. Like, I should have asked so many questions, but like I couldn't process what was going on. It all happened so fast, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I could do that again, I would be like, okay, do you have a minute to answer a couple questions for me? And but it was a great experience nonetheless, and I will definitely cherish those moments forever.
Yeah, I believe, sadly, I ended up missing the Refueled show. I don't know if I was out of the state at the time or had like a family issue or whatever, but I believe I missed that one, sadly. But I have witnessed that guy at the Champs before, but I'm going way back on that one. I don't think he's there anymore. I believe they've changed ownership and management like so many times over the last few years. But they have like a really good thing going right now. They've been booking solid shows. Everything's been extremely pleasant the last few times I've gone. And I mean, I've stayed there and like gotten backstage after the venue was actually like closed up for the night. Things have gotten better over here, so I would definitely consider coming over and playing the Chance if you're going to be in the area.
So I have a question for you, Drew.
A question for moi?
Absolutely, man. What's your favorite moment that you shared with Beneath the Fallen?
Irish car bombs.
I was actually just talking about this the other day too. This is going back. The basement was still open. Obviously, you guys were still in New York, and we had 2 shows that day in the area. We had the Rosendale Street Festival, where I was going to be spending that portion of the day seeing Antidote 8 and a couple of other friends' bands perform. And then I was going to come back and do Beneath the Fallen Fest. It was like a full-day festival. One Unit was on there, and I think Something Automatic and a couple of other bands. It was like a full Saturday thing. And I went out to the Street Fest with Morgan Evans, and I was in like metal mode that day. So I wore black jeans and that black button-up that I used to wear with the sleeves torn off. And it ended up just being one of the hottest days. And I'm Irish, so I fucking burn. So my whole face ends up getting red, my arms from like here down. And I had this big red V across my chest from where the shirt was open. And I was out there. I mean, in long story short, I got very beat up that day. because we had a couple of mishaps with driving the equipment back on golf carts in between the parking lot and the stage, to and from. So I got thrown a few times from that, got burnt to a crisp, forgot my wallet back at home, so I had no money to buy the $7 bottles of water. So I'm completely dehydrated, burnt redder than a Donald Trump hat, and decked out in all black. But I still made it back to Kingston, and I made it to that show, where I think I actually jumped up and I did 3 songs that night with you guys. In particular, I remember doing If You Could See Me Now, and there was a video of it where I came up and I did that acoustic part in the midsection before the final chorus. I jumped on there and I did the whole thing, and as I was coming off the stage, and you had said, it wouldn't be a Beneath the Fallen show without you, Drew. And I remember turning back to say thank you. And then when I turned back to get my camera, a buddy of mine slapped my chest and I just dropped. But it was still so worth it. And yes, as Frank said, we had the lines and lines of Irish car bombs, and it was a thing. Every Beneath the Fallen show, we would try to beat our number. And I think in the end, the last show, I think there was something like 26 car bombs or something like that. And we would just line people up across the bar and line car bombs up in front of them. And usually it was myself or Rob Stango that would win. So Rob and I have this this little rivalry going with drinking games, which all originated at Beneath the Fallen shows.
What's an Irish car bomb?
You will find out when you go on tour with these guys. No, actually, I'll tell you now. Can't help myself. It's a half pint of Guinness, and you drop in a shot glass of Jameson Irish cream, and you drop it in the shot glass, and then you chug it back. Basically, it's a race.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it gets a little dangerous after a few. I love that this started off like all about the music and all about, how the band is coming together now with new members and a new attitude and a new maturity on everything. And then it just kind of quickly went to how to get drunk really quick at a Beneath the Fallen show, which has always been how a Beneath the Fallen show goes. So this really has come full circle, and probably one of the best interviews I've done.
That's awesome. Yeah, I miss all that stuff, man, because after a show, everyone that was there, they were family, and we just partied it up. We'd party it up at the basement, or we'd bring everyone back to the practice spot and just light fires and throw them back. It was awesome.
And I was lucky enough to go back for some of those parts. I always had a good time. I'm looking forward to doing more. And one other quick little thing I'd like to share with you guys. I was recently going through, Facebook now has this thing called On This Day, where you can just go back to things you posted, on this day, a year ago, 2 years ago, 8 years ago, blah, blah. About a week ago, I came across Beneath the Fallen Unplugged live up at Hot Topic. I sat there and I watched those videos, and it brought me back to that time. It was perfect that I heard it when I did, only to hear the new song tonight, and then to sit here and talk with you guys again. Any possibility of doing unplugged stuff again, or are we just looking at full epic album stuff in the future?
Pretty sure we're gonna cover all that. Like I was saying earlier, it's a little difficult now because of the distance thing, but we're not gonna let that hold us back at all. We're willing to, Craven and I are willing to fly over to New York and meet Justin for the venues over there. And Justin is willing to fly over here. And of course, the three of us are willing to go anywhere. And whether it's a full studio album, replicated live set, or an unplugged thing like we used to do at Hot Topic, it won't matter. I mean, we're going to do it. I was telling Justin that this is personal for me. It's kind of like one of those milestones, that we're back, we're writing music again, because I actually had really bad writer's block, and I think it all had to do, it was almost like a trauma, like PTSD, like not being able to interact with Justin and what we had back then. Like, it just totally blocked me from writing. So but now that things are going, like, I'm excited again. I feel like there isn't that gap of silence from when we stopped to today. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm in the past. but with bells on this time. I actually didn't know there was any video of the Hot Topic sessions that we did. There's been a lot of media that I've been looking for just to see, because I'm very nostalgic, and I can't find a lot of stuff, because I know we used to throw in some covers every once in a while when we did live shows at the basement. One in particular I'll never forget, we covered a Michael Jackson song. I forget which one now, but Troy was all up in it, and it was awesome. Especially where I usually stand on stage. I mean, he's a big man, and he's just like right in my face, screaming the lyrics, and everyone going crazy. There was that other time when we did the instrument switch, and I went on drums, and I forget who was playing drums at the time, but they went on to bass, I believe, and we covered Seven Dust's Face to Face, and I wish someone had a video of that, because I really want to see that. But yeah, we did a bunch of covers here and there, just for shits and giggles, and it was always a good time. The crowd always had an awesome time. Man, I'm like revisiting that era right now. I just pictured that time when we tried that trick where the whole band stops and you just listen to the crowd, and that's fucking an awesome feeling when these people that you've been playing in front of and pushing your music in front of for a while, and they catch on and they appreciate it, and then catch them off guard, just turn the band off, and they're singing the lyrics right back at you. Like, that's an awesome feeling.
I remember actually being on your side of the stage one night when that exact thing happened. I would always try to come around and get shots from behind the band, showing them playing to a packed room. And one night in particular, that was when you guys just happened to pull one of those stops. I kind of froze for a second, because I was like, oh shit, did I unplug a power strip? I got scared for a second. Out of nowhere, everybody started singing the lyrics. I don't remember what song it was. I do remember everybody feeling that, like, oh my god, this is fucking cool. That's what that feels like. Quick, take pictures. So I got a couple of shots of that happening. It's a very cool feeling to have. As far as the band switching to do the Seven Dust song, if I remember correctly, I believe it was Dylan Shackleton that you had on drums, and he switched over to guitar, I believe.
By the way, I started cracking up when you were, because now I remember you being behind us. I had no idea that you you thought you tripped on a power strip or something. Fucked it. That's gotta be a really shitty feeling, man. Sorry we put you through that.
What actually tipped me off, the crowd was singing, and I started taking the pictures really quick, and there was one shot where I was like right behind you, and I took the picture, and all of a sudden you turned around with this big ass fucking grin on your face, and it was like with the guitar like still up, like you were like ready. I think you were intending to look over to whoever was drumming at the time, like kind of give that like and then start playing thing. Stopped and you locked eyes on me for a second, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take that picture too. I think it was actually like the Beneath the Fallen MySpace picture for a minute.
Yes, actually, I get a lot of compliments on that picture. That's why I keep it up. I posted it's on my Facebook and my Instagram right now.
It was such a crappy camera, but it pulled through and took some really good shots when I really needed it. And that just happened to be like one of the gems, like one of my personal favorites. So I've got one more question I gotta ask. I actually meant to ask at the very beginning, and it just completely slipped my mind. The new album title, do you guys have that yet? I know you were running with No Pity for Self-Infliction for the EP. Is that still the album title, or are we on to something different now?
I think we're going to keep it. I mean, it describes the music very well, and it comes from a personal point for me. All the songs that I write are from personal experience, you know, whether it be dealing with domestic violence issues I've run into throughout my life, you know, dealing with other people, helping them through that, substance abuse, or, you know, relationship problem, topics that everyone can relate to, and to show everyone that they're not alone, you know, with the struggles that they go through. Not beat yourself up about it, you know, not blame yourself, don't feel sorry for yourself. Show the power that you have, show your self-worth, and show that you could rise above it and you can beat it. A lot of the songs are written, Craven describes them very well. The lyrics are ugly, but the music is very inspiring. It's very powerful. And that's how I try to write, is to make light of all these bad scenarios in life and all the bad situations that you come across in life. And there's no pity for self-infliction. I don't feel sorry for myself for the things that I bring upon myself, and nobody should feel sorry for themselves about all the things that they bring upon themselves. It's how we learn as human beings. It's how we grow. It's we wouldn't be who we are without going through all that. So if anything, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, you know. So I think that the title No Pity for Self-Infliction still holds very true to you know, to describing the music that we're coming across, whether it be newer songs or revamping the old songs, or anything. That's how I would describe it. But we all decide things collectively as a band, and if you know, if someone comes up with another name that could better describe it, then yeah, I'm totally game. You know, we'll roll with it.
Like Justin said, so far we're keeping the same title because it is sort of the theme of the album, and like he says, I say his lyrics are ugly, but in them there's beauty, and the music is very emotionally driven, emotionally charged, and being a singer, singing songs that I didn't necessarily write, the message, it's all relatable. I can relate it in my own life experience, things I've dealt with myself or through other people that I'm close to, and the title really speaks to that, because yes, your past has brought you to where you are today, but it doesn't have to define you. You can start over, and that's kind of what the album means. It's like a little bit of Beneath the Fallen's past, but we're also taking that into the future. So there's a little bit of what they were before, and then now it's where we're going. So I think it's a perfect way to tie it all together, the old sound and the new sound, and saying, hey, here we are. We're Beneath the Fallen 2.0, we took a break for a little while, but we're here and we remember where we came from. We're taking it to where we're going, and I think that the album and the music and even the title will all reflect that.
And that is actually what initially hooked me. Once I was able to sit down and really listen to the lyrics, they tell a story, and it's all stuff that's very relevant. Just different things that have happened in my life, that are happening currently in my life, even today. His lyrics have been able to actually speak to me in that way, and that's what made Beneath the Fallen definitely my favorite local band. Just, you don't really get a lot of that with other groups. It's all just whatever's current and cool and trendy, but Justin's lyrics have had actual meaning to them.
Yes, they definitely do. They're definitely relatable, and he's a really good writer, and he just has a way of expressing the emotion in the music and in the lyrics. I remember when I was learning the songs for the album, and I was listening to a song, I think it was Sever the Line, and he had sent me all the lyrics, so I could read the lyrics and learn the lyrics, and I remember texting him and saying, "Oh my God, this song, I feel like you ripped my heart out and ripped my thoughts out and just put it on a page. I can relate to it so much, and the way he expresses it, it's like he just took the very thought out of my head and put it out there for everyone else." It's crazy to be involved in something that feels so much like me, even though I came in and I was just kind of the singer, so but it's like that, and I know if I can feel like that, if I can be moved in such a way, or I'm just so passionate about it and getting this music out there and so excited, I know that other people are going to be too, and it's really cool to see it already starting to develop, people like you who have heard the song and they're getting excited, and Jackie, the girl who's been helping out with the logo and stuff. We have so many people who are really excited to hear the music and still be a part in whatever way they can and however they can. It's been really cool to see how the music affects people on a level that's relatable. It's not just, oh yeah, that was a cool song and that's gonna be, on the radio today and then forgotten tomorrow, and then 20 years from now when you're seeing something, hits from this year, this was a hit. I don't see the music as that. I see it as something more, one of those songs where you're gonna pop in Don't Let Go into your iPod or whatever we're listening to 20 years from now, and you're gonna remember exactly where you were and exactly what you were doing, and one of those songs that just brings back those memories, and hopefully the rest of the album will do the same.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to the new album, and I know a good chunk of people over here are looking forward to it as well. So definitely keep us all updated, keep posting songs if you can. I speak for myself at least, but I'm sure other people, we're all jonesing for more tracks. We're all looking forward to what's coming. Any final words from anybody?
No final words yet, brother, but we definitely gotta hook up and reminisce some more over some Irish car bombs.
Yeah, definitely, man. There's never final words. We'll rest when we're dead, Right now, it's just work, and keeping you guys happy, giving you what you want. I love the feedback, man. I love just sitting down. These are some of my favorite times, just sitting down here and reminiscing with you guys, reminiscing with the band, creating new memories with Craven in the band, and reminiscing with old ones with Frank and you, Drew. You've been with us from just about the beginning of our public career. It's great to look back on all the fun times we had and look forward to new ones. I encourage everybody else out there, keep an eye open. We're always posting new content. We released a new single on Reverb Nation. We've recently hit in the top 10 the charts on Reverb Nation, so thank you guys so much. Without all of you, we wouldn't be where we are or who we are, you know, and our message wouldn't get across, so we're forever in your debt. You can go on the Reverb Nation page, like it, subscribe to our mailing list, get a free download of it. It's out there for free. Give it a listen, spread the word. All the help is appreciated, man. Hopefully we'll all see you soon when we get together to do a show up here, and you'll be the first to know, brother. So thanks for having us here and doing the interview, man.
So thank you guys for sitting and chatting with me tonight, reminiscing, bringing up old memories, some that I'll never remember and some that I'll cherish forever. It's been great sitting down with you guys. You guys have been great. I've been Drew, and I'll see you guys on the road.
All right. Thanks, man. Be easy.
Bye. It's been great.
Keep the party going and keep the music alive.